Alright, I'm just setting up cameras right now for this suddenly surprise powerful storm in the Philadelphia area. Multiple warnings for severe thunderstorms, and there is damage. A couple of damage reports. Let me slip over to Radar Omega here. And we have looks like we have a couple of reports right here. Exeter Township, PA, Berks County, one injured where a tree is down on a house. So that was about half an hour, well, a little bit, 10:55, so a little over a half hour ago, 45 minutes, actually 50 minutes. We've got a lightning report where it looks like fire started on a lightning strike at a power pole. Then in Reading, Pennsylvania, Laureldale area, we've got wires down, Center and Franklin Street. So this cell in north of Philly, moving into like the Trenton area, is definitely the strongest. But this cell over Westchester, Chad's Ford, is definitely powerful as well and has been microbursting. And as you can see, a secondary line's forming. So this area of disturbance right here in the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia Metro, has got some potential to stay severe and keep turning up more storms as this front's kind of like stalling out. Now we got a new flash flood warning for that area as well, just about to pop up on this screen. I get faster warning service on the new radar. So as you can see here, new flash flood warning until 3:45 p.m. So the Delaware Valley, the river has been kind of flooding and also running high, but there's a coastal flood advisory for that area as well. That's not going to come up on here, but that whole region is backed up. The water's backed up from the storm from the other day, so it's going to flood out really easy here in the Philly and northern Wilmington region. And if you've ever experienced that, like right along 95 is where a lot of that happens, where the off ramps to get down into Philly can flood out pretty easily. Let me get these cameras going, and popped up here, putting up New Jersey and PA traffic cams so we can see what's going on here. I know Bergen floods out pretty easy. Most of this is just rain and not really severe as we would think of it with high winds or anything crazy like that's been happening the past couple weeks. But a pretty substantial amount of rain is bound up in these couple of storms here. And now they've just added just across the river from Newark, Delaware, in southern New Jersey, a new severe thunderstorm warning. You can see it there at the bottom. Let me pull it up a little bit. So that's from the cell that just crossed through Elkton. I mean, that storm just really formed right there over top of Northeast and Elkton, and as that quickly flared up as it crossed that short strip of Delaware in Newcastle County, and has flared up into a severe thunderstorm now. So let me flip it back to Radar Omega. It's a little easier to understand what's going on there for you guys. You can see that cell formed right there, right over Cecil County. And is moving along at, I think these are going about 40 miles an hour. Let's see what this is. And now this is until, that's the watch, until 5 p.m. now, because this storm may be repeating itself over and over as it stalls out. And we've got a quarter-size hail and it's 30 miles an hour, so it's stalling out. These were moving at 40, 45 at first. Now they're down to 30 miles per hour. I have a feeling as this front stalls out, these storms are just going to keep regenerating over and over today for the next couple hours, at least over New Jersey and Philly, and they're going to end up getting hammered. I don't think these cells are going to be down here as much into Delaware or in the Eastern Shore. They may turn this area of warning, or severe watch, I mean, off. And I don't think it runs as long either. No, it does till 5 p.m. So same thing, gusts to 70 possible for microbursting mainly. There's not really a tornado threat. This is for the microbursting type cells that we've been seeing. And what's going on up here? Let's change this over to velocity. Now this is shaded so you guys can tell. I shaded it red and blue custom so it's easier to read, and you can see these big sweeping areas where the dark colors are slower, and the brighter the color, the brighter the shade of blue, the faster it's moving. And the scale is out of the screen at the top, but when it starts to turn that light green color, very, very light colors right here, very light blue, very almost to a green, it's around 50 to 60 miles an hour. If it turns bright light green, almost to a yellow, it will be closer to 70 or 80 miles per hour as the shades brighten up. And you can see there's like notches of color where these storms are swirling, and the more detail you get into that, you can see that's the microburst that I called out earlier. See that where it suddenly changes direction and it shows the reds instead of the neutral gray, although the storm's moving at 40 miles an hour. That's what a microburst looks like right there, and you can see the hail being generated right in there. And they always kind of rotate a little bit, and they can spin up a tornado warning. But that's what a microburst, textbook microburst looks like right there, that rotation looking area. And then you've got these bright colored wind gusts coming out from them. A lot of times in all directions. Sometimes they're focused into one direction, but so this is a pretty potent little storm, probably 50, 60, 65 mile an hour gusts happening up in the air, and then they can be focused down into the ground. But the main threat here is for flooding. People drive into these floodwaters willingly a lot of times, not knowing any better, and they end up trapped, and then people have to rescue them, get them out of their cars, and those people can be swept away, and it just becomes a bad scene quickly. More people die from these flash flood incidents being rescued from their cars than all the tornadoes, lightning, wind damage combined. Doesn't add up to as many people that die or get injured from these. And first responders also die more rescuing people from their cars in floodwaters and innocent bystanders trying to help than any other way from storms. Excuse me, losing my voice. So it's something that I feel real adamant about telling people, because it's something that people don't realize. Now we've got this storm here crossing the Delaware, between Delaware City, Salem, Attaway Township type area. See it swirling up on this velocity radar here. Just that fast, that's putting a microburst out. When it's real big and wide like that, that's a hail core dumping out winds and starting to rotate. And this could be turning into a microburst or a rotation that we need to watch. It's got kind of a swirl in it. So let's change it to correlation coefficient real quick. see what it looks like. It looks like a big hail core. Forms right there. So it's either real high winds crossing the Delaware at the top of the bay there. Let's get these cameras going. I'm talking too much. I need to shut my hole and do my job. I think those cameras are knocked out. Great. Not working. Oh, it's working. Excellent. That's a Delaware Bridge. That's as close as we can get on that side. And it is pouring. Let me pull it up. And it's not there. And that side is going to be Delaware. Delaware City is as close as you can get. Doesn't even look that bad. So this is all up in the air. And on the Salem side, New Jersey. Trying to find a camera that actually shows something, so worth looking at. There's not many cameras on the New Jersey side there until you start getting up towards Philly. But it's raining pretty hard there. Alright, I'm figuring it out. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, the water is bad in Westchester. This thing dumped 2 to 4 inches, I think. Which reminds me that people have got to stop driving into that water. It's pretty bad. I just got that alert, actually, for that evacuation. Let me send that out. What a crazy year it's been for these storms. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna check something. It looks like we got somebody turned around on the parkway there, Westchester Pike and I-476, car facing backwards. Pretty crazy. Let me pull that up on this camera. I don't know how we got two of the same camera at the same time. Not working. What's going on here? I'm just gonna have to get rid of these. It's a duplicate, apparently. Oh, this program can be frustrating. There we go. So it looks like somebody spun out in the rain. You see the car facing backwards there. Doesn't look like a big accident happened, but the way these people are driving, it's scary. They're like not getting over to the last second. Even though the cop's sitting there, it's like that guy pulled right up to him and then pulled away. I don't understand what's going on with these people. It's getting scary out there on the roads. It's just madness. So I'm not seeing any flash flooding on the cameras on the highways. So it's definitely in the river area more than anywhere else where it's backed up water, but we're seeing a lot of heavy rain coming out of these cells. Southern New Jersey is where it's at now. Gail, they know things we don't know, so you never know what's going on with the dogs. It always freaks me out when they do that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's take a look at the turnpike here. Perfectly clear. That's in northern New Jersey. Storms haven't quite got there yet. The Pennsylvania and the New Jersey cameras don't cooperate very well. They like to time out quickly. So maybe we'll go to Windy. The nice thing about the Windy app is, let me make it larger for you to see. If you've got the pro version of Windy, it does all kinds of cool stuff. adjust your forecast and all that stuff, but let's change this to webcams. And it marks out all your webcams that you can access. If you zoom in, there's even more. And a lot of them are connected directly to, like the Delaware cameras are all traffic cams that I normally use, but you can also get into other people's cameras that are signed up for it, which through different services. So if there is a person or business or something like that that has their own camera, you can access that. A lot of the cameras in Philly are down, but you can get into the street cams, and they're adding more all the time, so it's pretty cool. And it gives you a little preview when you scroll over it, so you can look quickly. And there's a tab there, you can add up, find a new webcam, you can stick it right in there. Let's go up into Philly proper here. Raining really hard there. Get up into the New Jersey area, it's probably even worse. Nothing there, nothing there. And I'm not seeing any flood reports come in yet. So let's look at these storms. Not seeing any cameras in New Jersey at all, besides a couple when it goes Atlantic City. Nothing in the center, but all along the river. There's a wicked looking one. 6 minutes ago, wow. Yeah. This should be a better sight for the cameras. Looks like the severe thunderstorm warnings have dropped off anyway. The main problem here is definitely flooding now. As you can see, it's raining really hard there. Street Road. I used to live on Street Road in Harford County. Street Road in Street, Maryland. Whoops. So the storms are dying down already. going on with that, except for that one cell here over south that came out of Cecil County in South Jersey now. Still rotating, putting out some microbursting. Wish I could get a camera on it. That's more rotation than it is microbursting, so that could end up with a tornado warning on it. And that is over Always Creek area, South New Jersey, Clinton. Once it gets headed towards Hopewell, Bridgeton, New Jersey is the biggest area. And right, you're starting to get into the Pine Barrens there before long. Mad Horse Creek Wildlife Management Area, which had a big fire going for a couple weeks here, the last couple weeks, right across the river from Collins Beach in Delaware, Upper Bay. So I don't know what's going on with these cameras. Pennsylvania cameras are horrible, but you can see these storms are wicked. Where they pass through, and they're still pretty nasty looking up that direction. The skies are very heavy with water, which is why they look so dark gray. And just torrential downpours coming out of these storms. So if you're up headed that direction, especially, and if you're in New Jersey, beware of this. That's Westchester Area Fire Department channel playing in the background. I'm not hearing anything going on there, but these storms aren't too bad. It's just a couple spots, and now we've got flash flood warnings in the Westchester area. Reports are starting to come in. We've got cars and vehicles stuck in the water. Rescues ongoing in Chester County. Flash flooding in Compass Road. So Westchester got hammered with rain. And some pretty heavy winds. Not seeing much of it. Let's look at the rainfall amounts. Estimated 1 hour precip total. Good lord. That's 2 to 3 inches right there. In an hour, in 1 hour over Westchester. This is radar estimated, and the storm in southern New Jersey is doing the same thing. Absolutely pouring. We're going to have flash flood warnings here anytime. So if you're in southern New Jersey, look out. That storm is rotating, and that storm is putting out at least 2 to 3 inches per hour of rainfall. That's incredible. And we've got big hail in that storm. That's what that is, a hail core. With heavy, heavy rain. Still showing signs of hail. Hail shadow coming off of it a little bit. Oh, what are they calling for? 25 miles an hour. So they're still slowing down. And that's the problem, is they're slowing down, and that's kind of squeezing the water out as they're running up against this edge of the atmosphere that's causing this slowdown. The damage report, down tree and wires, and Malvern, Pennsylvania. I've been there. Yeah, Matt, these things are apparently running up against a larger area of, well, this happens a lot with these storms just as they get near the coast and they run into that different air mass caused by the Atlantic, which is much cooler air, much more dense air due to the lower temperatures of the ocean at the beaches, especially where it's always colder water right up against the coastline. I don't know why it does that, but if you go out 100 miles, it's warm Gulf Stream water. And then you've got this 58, 59, 60 degree water column 25, 30 miles up against the beaches this time of year, and that helps as these storms come out of the mountains. They flare up, which is exactly what happened here. Here's the mountains over here, Harrisburg, that big ridge line you can see over here. These storms came out of here, meandering through here, and there was like nothing to them. They didn't even flare up until they got out of the mountains. From Frederick to Harrisburg, these lines formed as the system moved across to the east. They flared up right over top of York, Lancaster, and Harford County, Cecil County. As the energy got there, they just exploded, bang. And that's because they're running into this dense, colder air, pushing against it, squeezing the water out. And it just dumped massive amounts of water, apparently up in Westchester. We've got some pretty serious flooding going on. I'm getting so many notifications at once, I don't know what to do. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. We may have a tornado on our hands right here in southern New Jersey, approaching Bridgeton. That's a debris ball. That's not a hail core. Unless it's a very, very specific microburst. Take a look at it here. Showing rotation. It's definitely a rotating storm. You can see the motions. Hopefully that's a hail core. It's a very, very tight one. Yeah, it might be a microburst happening right now. Live on the camera. something new. Yep, new thunderstorm warning for the second line coming into Wilmington, southern New Jersey, Pennsville Township, Washington Township. But this is including Newark. This has got a pretty good gust front on it. You can see on the velocity scan here. It's getting a hard edge on it. It sure would be nice to have the Delaware radar working today when we need it most. So that's got a strong gust front coming through. Let's look at these cameras. Still raining very hard, and the winds are cranking up, shaking the camera on that one. And on the Westchester plate cam, you can see that gust front in the distance there. It's going to look like a big wall cloud extending down to the ground as it sweeps across. Big shelf cloud. So southern New Jersey is about to get rocked again. Good Lord. Tornado warning. I knew that was coming. Southern New Jersey, there it is. I called it early, again. So we got a tornado warning, Hopewell Township, Bridgeton, New Jersey, Greenwich, Fairfield, if you're over there. This is a slow moving storm that's rotating, definitely had a debris ball for a second. So this is probably on the ground. Let's go back to correlation coefficient. Put that in motion. All hell is breaking loose. And you can see right there some inflow. So this might be one of those repeating tornadoes where the storm's moving slow but it keeps reforming. It's a very weak tornado. Very small area. And slow moving. You can see right there the rotation. Pretty broad, pretty wide, but just in case, this needs to be warned. It wrapped up pretty tight there for a second, and that's when we saw the debris ball, like Lower Always Creek area, Peck's Corner Road, Jericho Road, Maskell's Mill. It went right through here. Jericho. Sheps Valley. So it's mostly farmland and stuff over here with small towns, if you've ever been over there. It's not super heavily populated, but it is definitely winding up again. You can see right there. Big broad rotation. I wish we had a camera over there. Let's go to the super radar. Make these cameras smaller. They're not working anyway. So on the correlation coefficient on this camera, on this radar, we can really see a lot more. And it's tracking the cell. Right here you can see 100% hail, big hail core. And when these hail cores get wound up tight and they start microbursting, downbursting, they can cause a tornado vortex if the whole thing is spinning, especially as that hail. Yeah, Newcastle, Delaware is technically in the area of it, but it's across the river, Jason. It's on the New Jersey side. It's in Bridgeton, New Jersey now, and it's moving towards the coast, down towards Ocean City. So you guys are safe in Newcastle. You just got caught up in the geotext fencing, but it's far past. It's on the other side of the river completely. So let me send out a warning real quick. I'll be right back. So if you're just joining, we've got a tornado warning in southern New Jersey. Apparently everybody in Delaware received this warning also by accident. It's likely to be canceled any minute. It looks like it was briefly on the ground near Bridgeton. Well, it was probably on the ground more towards Jericho, Garrison Corner in southern New Jersey. It's moving away from Delaware. It's on the New Jersey side of the bay and river and headed towards Ocean City, but it is falling apart quickly. Headed towards Ocean City, New Jersey, not Ocean City, Maryland, I should say. The whole area of Newcastle County received this tornado warning, apparently. So still raining extremely heavily in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and there's flash flood warnings. This tornado warning is probably going to go away. And we see these tornado warnings pop up like this a lot, where they briefly show up. Let me get this radar Omega back up a little cleaner for you guys to see. I use the other one to determine what's going on. I have them both running at the same time, but as you can see on the rotation here, it's spreading out. And it's just on the New Jersey side of the Delaware Bay and River. So, as I was saying, this was probably going to end up with a tornado warning. And we ended up with one. But the biggest threat here right now, honestly, is the flash flooding. We need to be careful and let everybody know to not drive into this floodwaters. You're never going to make it. Your car will float and 6 inches will be pushed off. Of 6 inches of water is all it takes to push your car off if it's flowing fast enough. And you'll feel it start to slide sideways as you're trying to drive through if the water's coming across sideways, even though it's not that deep. I'm getting the winds here from that gust front off of that next storm. So severe thunderstorm warnings, and mainly for New Jersey, but it's brushing through the Wilmington area now. It's crazy how this just popped up. And we still got a lot of rotation on that storm, but it's very broad. Having a hard time staying together. But this is probably near Bridgeton, New Jersey now, heading towards Ocean City and the coast. Ocean City, New Jersey, Sea Isle City, Ocean City. And it appears to be rotating fairly well, but mostly a hail core. And up to about an inch and a half hail now, it looks like. So there's no cameras over here to show, unfortunately. I'm just going to ditch these cameras so we get the whole screen, and then what I'll do is I'll split between the two radar programs here, so you can kind of see them both at the same time. And here is the tornado warned area, and then we can go over to the base velocity, and it's showing a pretty good area of rotation. Let's turn that off underneath, put the live scan up, and then I can clean this up further. By stopping the motion. And it looks like they're going to let this tornado warning go any second. And drop it off. Radar Omega is a little slow. Yeah, Alan, I felt those winds come through too, and that was the dry part. I'm in Havre de Grace over by Level Fire Department, Susquehanna State Park, and what you were seeing was just this little blast. It's windy as hell here, but these little storms right through here on the left of this screen is what you got right here, and it's coming through here right now, getting real windy, but hardly any rain. Let me pull it up on my my camera, my storm cams. Let me get my cameras up real quick. Not a whole lot going on my cameras. Worth looking at. It's just cloudy. Put the Delaware cameras up. Now they still got the tornado warning going. Shrunk it up because these storms are stalling out and slowing down. It's got an actual hook on it. Wow, look at that. So we're watching this tornado warning. I got new cameras over there to see it. The best I can do is put up the Delaware cameras and try to look across the river or the bay. There's not a whole lot in that area. You can't really see anything. Catch a sky view, that's about it. Nothing at all. But this thing has a hook on it. It's very slow moving. On the right side is the correlation coefficient. I'll put that up and see if there's any debris, which there is a little bit of blue, but nothing that stands out. It is registering a hail core, 80% detection. And it has a TOR of 75. So it's telling us that there is definitely some kind of a vortex here with this automated scan radar. Delaware City cam. Nothing. There used to be a big camera that picked up everything, but it's not there anymore. Not working or something. Most of that is Delaware Seashore, Palm Bay Hook. There's no cameras down through there, so not really much that you can see. But I was just checking some other cameras sky view towards that direction, but not a lot going on. Some of the Dover cams do pretty well, but so this is definitely a good one right there. You can see the there, it's really black as we're looking south. And this camera turns, so I'll leave that one up. And this is from Dover, so it's not really going to see much, but you may see in the distance how nasty it looks as it switches from north, south, east, and west on Route 1 there in Dover. Looking across the bay, it'll suddenly switch again. But let's scan this tornado really well with the radar app. I'll move this one aside. My good radar app here. Now these cones are from storm tracker mode. I can click this here and it shows the storm direction. So these are designators for strong cells. And what that does is it gives me a cone of where it's headed. And then it shows me what's going on. This one is 70 mile per hour possible. Currently storm speed at 45 miles per hour, forward direction speed, not wind speed. And then this one up here is flashing at me, which tells me something's going on here. We've got a hailstorm, 60% probability of larger than 1 inch or half-inch hail, and this storm is moving at 47 miles per hour. And this correlation coefficient will show debris or stuff in the air, but let's change that to base velocity. And now it's color-coded to winds, the direction they're moving towards or away from the radar site, and how fast. Storm relative takes out the storm motion itself, the speed, the forward mile per hour speed, and puts it back to just taking that into consideration to determine how fast the winds are actually moving up in the storm. But it's not really in, this is all in New Jersey, it's not in Harford County or anything like that. They just added a new tornado warning, it appears, as this thing is pretty much stalled out. It's barely moving, 31 miles per hour, but it's still in Bridgeton, in the main area there. So 100% hail probability flashing at us, and a cone of where it's moving towards. A tour of 1. So it's got a decent rotation going here. It may be transferring its energy to a new area of rotation. So Bridgeton, New Jersey. Millville is next. It's going to go right past Millville to the south. Send out one. Oh, these cameras are driving me crazy. I'll be right back. Hang on 1 minute. just had some thunder here in Harper County. Alan, Hartford is probably going to get some strong cells, but we're not included in this right now. There's a strong thunderstorm component to our east, and that's where all this is happening, on the other side of the Delaware River. Dover isn't even included in this, so the severe thunderstorm watch is only for Newark, Delaware, and then I think it's down into the farthest it comes close is Eastern Shore of Maryland, Kent County, lower Cecil County, but they may develop over top of us, but they're not going to strengthen until they get down further along the Delmarva Peninsula. So our main concern right now is this, especially this secondary tornado, is very developed. Looks like I need to get this squared back up. There we go. So, as you can see here, the rotation, this is a very developed vortex signature right here. We've got a single point Collins Lakes, Cedar Lake. 322 still coming down, you know, we're almost in the Folsom, down 322 on Park Avenue, Black Horse Road area, and then heading towards Myers Landing Road. They call that town, what, Penny Pot or something like that there. Newtonville. All this area right now under a tornado warning, and there is definitely a tornado on the ground, probably. This cell. Let's take a look at the correlation coefficient. It's showing a little bit of a debris ball there. Let me get this straightened out. I hate that. Two tornado warnings at the same time, and a very strong gust front showing debris. So it's pretty much worst case scenario across the Pine Barrens right now. That tornado hail core shadow preceding it, that's what this line is, where the radar's up here. So when there's a heavy debris signature, you'll get these shadows coming off behind it from the direction of the radar towards the outlook direction. And there are some debris balls going on here, or heavy debris hail core type reflections in the correlation coefficient, stating that there is stuff being blown up in the air, more or less, is what that's showing. Now, you can see this tornado in New Jersey. The main concern here for Folsom area, New Jersey, Newtonville, Piney Hollow, and this is coming right down Black Horse Pike towards the beaches. Hamilton Township is next. Egg Harbor City, you're in line. Atlantic City Airport. So it's headed towards Atlantic City. And it's got a strong rotation. The storm is definitely wound up tight. Radar indicated so far, but definitely looks like it's probably on the ground. And it's moving at 30 miles an hour, they say, on their radar. And that's about what I'm showing. Let me flip to the other more advanced radar system. And you can see quite the extremely strong rotation, showing a strong hail core. And there's a mesovortex signature there, a small rotation symbol, and it's showing 50, 60 mile an hour outgoing, gate to gate. It's not real impressive, but it is well defined. And we've got .43 mile an hour forward speed according to my radar. Egg Harbor City, Pomona, Mays Landing, you guys are all next. This is quite a pronounced tornado. Looks like it's kind of bowing out a little bit here, losing its definition. Which is a good sign, but it's still 70, 80 mile an hour winds possible with this cell. So yeah, the Millville rotation is not as defined either. Big gap in the radar there, but 100% probability on big hail. here is where the rotation is supposed to be, and it's very slow, and this one up here may be transferring energy up. Meso detection strength of 5, so that's pretty pronounced 2,000 foot base height. Pretty low to the ground too, so it's probably putting something down. 43 mile an hour forward speed. It's going to be in Egg Harbor City soon. Mays Landing, you're going to get, you know, Estelle Manor over here. You guys are going to get strong winds out of this as well. This thing's blasting out winds down Route 40, down 322, and down Route 30 in the Egg Harbor to Mays Landing area, heading towards Atlantic City at about 45 miles an hour. So it looks like it's bowing out and turning into a big downburst instead of a tornado at this point. It may still have a tornado in it. It's going to be rain wrapped. You're not going to see it. No other areas are involved in this besides southern New Jersey. We got a lot of flash flooding and a meso detection now on the cell in Aberdeen, which is ridiculous because I'm looking right at it from my house. So it may be we may have a meso here when the storm in Harford County. The Harford County cell is showing a little bit of development, but it's not really doing anything. I have a camera that direction. And it looks dark down that way over Havre de Grace, but let's pull up the Havre de Grace dock webcam, or boardwalk. Get the live view right from Havre de Grace, right at the boardwalk there. You can see up here just some rain, very heavy rain, and the gusts were crazy when they first came through, but they didn't last long and they weren't that heavy. So our main concern is for New Jersey. Southern New Jersey is where the action is at and the danger. And now we've got this storm bowing out with 2 tornado warnings on it, moving towards Atlantic City, Ocean City, and Sea Isle City on the beaches. And the main concern is for this upper tornado warning. The cell is really moving some air around it. It's got a lot of strong, probably damaging winds coming out towards Hamilton Township, Egg Harbor City. I've been trying to find cameras. Webcams in that area, but I'm not really seeing any. Out in the Pine Barrens, there's not a lot. Not a lot of cameras in that area. This storm is cycling. This tornado warning on this upper cell is the problem here. You can see that's wound up pretty tight. And then you've got a secondary tornado warning down in Millville. Not as pronounced, slower speeds, but right on top of Millville, definitely some hook going on there. Let's put that in motion. You can see it coming in, flaring up, getting stronger, but it's widening out, and that's a good sign. When you see those signatures grow and darken up, that means it's slowing down and spreading out. And then we've got, so that's probably not even on the ground, but there is a damage report. Heavily damaged shed around Bridgeton area, possible tornado. Yeah, we saw the debris from that. I called that one out early, and it looks like it's trying to flare back up for a minute, and then over Fairfield Township, right there, and see how it's broadening out, and the colors are getting darker. That means that's falling apart quickly. That's a good sign for that cell. But still take cover. You got to take these seriously. You don't know what's going on at the ground level. Meanwhile, here in Folsom, Egg Harbor City area, Hamilton Township, running right down 322 towards Atlantic City Airport in Atlantic City, is the stronger cell, showing much stronger winds. You can see the rotation in the clouds. This one's probably running up against that beach air and starting to spread out as well. Once it gets down towards Egg Harbor Township, we'll see. But it'll start broadening out as it runs into that air mass. That's what's causing this. So 70 mile an hour with a possible tornado on the thunderstorm warning. And then on the tornado warning, it's still radar indicated. Nobody's seen it so far. That's official, but moving at about 30 miles per hour. So as you can see, the numbers are coming down. It's slowing down as it's running into this heavy, dense, cold air over the ocean, which is what's causing this to spin up. So this is the velocity radar. It shows me the wind speeds and the direction by coloring it. And you can see it was a very pronounced rotation right through here. Let me back that up a little more. So that's a tornado right there on the radar, on the velocity radar, and it looks like it's spreading out now as well. But it's well defined right down 322, Victory Lakes neighborhood, Collins Lakes, as it came through Folsom, Black Horse Pike, and Mays Landing area is where the tornado happened. It looks like Victory Lakes neighborhoods, maybe even Star Cross, Route 612. Yeah, it looks like it hit Victory Lakes, Bluebell Road, Coles Mill Road. What is that? Whitetail. So this is a pretty well built up area here. Pine Street, Blueberry Road, Berryland, Collins Lake, Cedar Lake, Piney Hollow, 12th Street and Black Horse Pike in the Folsom area. That's where these, in Penny Pot, that's where these went through. These heavy winds. Looks like it's kind of spreading out now and slowing down as well. Could still be gusting, downbursts, microburst winds, still probably coming out of these storms. The amount of lightning alone, look at those lightning strikes. That's crazy. So still 2 tornado warnings. There is tornado damage likely on the first cell in Bridgeton, and that's where I said that looked like it was wrapping up earlier in the broadcast here and starting to turn into a tornado. And then 20 minutes later, there we have one. So as you can see, these air masses are joining up. You see this big gust front, this big blast of air is wrapped up like really tight. The overall picture, it did a lot of damage up through here as it came out of Reading, Pennsylvania this morning, blasted through Philadelphia with heavy rains, and as it approached the Atlantic City beach area of New Jersey, it's running into that colder air over top of the ocean and slamming into it, causing all this chaos. It does look like that first tornado was very pronounced. You can see it clearly on this radar here. Right there. Let me outline that. So if you guys want to see what velocity radar can do, much more advanced radar, it shows the tornado much more clearly. And I'll write on the screen right here. I have to zoom in on that so you can see it clearly. As it happened. Let me pull up the anchor. So that's it right there. See how the red and the blue right next to each other, and especially right in Monroe Township area, right about there. You can see it form and get that bright blue fan looking shape as it moves through there. Slow that down a little too, but it shows it pretty well. So I'll stop it as it forms. Right there. You can see that vortex signature right there. Zoom in some more. Here it comes. It's starting to form right there over Starcross. By the time it gets down to Victory Lakes, just a small but very bright colored area just southwest of Black Horse Pike and Victory Lakes area. It moves down Collins Lakes, Colesville Road, Airport. Not airport, towards the airport is what I meant to say. We're moving towards the coast, towards the big airport. And it is gusting out. Now this is the current radar. Last frame. Both of them are gusting out, which is good signs. So these will probably be canceled in a second. That one turned black. That was odd. And it's gone. So that's canceled. As I said, it would probably gust out before it got down to Egg Harbor, and that's exactly what's happened. It's still rotating, it's still going to look wild in the sky. It's still dangerous because it can be putting out microbursts and hail. But the tornado warning is canceled now for the Atlantic City cell that was moving down Black Horse Pike 322 as it reached the Egg Harbor City area right before. So now we're still dealing with the secondary tornado cell, and this is where the clouds are crossing up against each other. You can see this cloud storm cell is punching south while this one is developing more towards the east. And as they collide with each other, it kind of spun it up, but now it's overtaking it and it's canceling it out. They should be canceling this any second. The second original tornado warning, but the only one that's left now. This one did produce a damage report, and it looks like we have a damage report that just came in Folsom. Trees and wires down, so that was definitely a tornado on the ground there. Folsom, New Jersey. So I just started doing this. If you're new to my page, every time there's something going on, I'm going to live stream and cover it now so people can tell what's happening and where. And you can kind of check in and see. The flood reports are coming in, huge amounts of flood reports in Philadelphia, Westchester area. It's very bad up that direction. Some damage reports as well. Trees on the car. North Philly, telephone pole down on a roof. Wires down in Roxborough, Philly. And then the flood reports are pouring in Westchester. Water rescues going on around Westchester. And now in Philly, we've got a bunch. I-95 southbound, exit 476. Flooding, we can pull that up. And that's that's right on the PA side. Let's pull that camera up. Oh yeah, there it is. Clyde Road. Got some heavy water in this bottom camera. Make that large. Causing all kinds of problems. People are driving through it. Standing water. You can see over here on the left side. There's always a problem here apparently. Something needs to fix. Prospect Park. Water rescue is taking place. Pike. Oh yeah, it's pretty bad there. Heavy flooding, Chester Pike. People, you cannot drive into floodwater. Unfortunately, cars don't run underwater. So all up and down Chester Pike, water rescues are happening in this Fulcroft Prospect Park area of Philly, Upper Darby, all along the water. The water there is always pretty deep. Flash flood warning for another 2 hours. Considerable threat. On the other side of the river, really surprises me there's not cameras in the Atlantic City area, at least, you know, pretty built up area where the airport is and all that. These main roads, like the Parkway and all, but the Garden State Parkway has its own traffic cam system, so let's go to that. Take a look. See what we can see. That tornado warning is still ongoing, although there's not much really there. I'm still watching it on the other radar program. It's turned into a gust, so they're just gonna let it expire at 1:30. I guess is the plan. Trying to figure out on the turnpike here, or Parkway. They're starting to show more flood warnings down into the area that the storm just passed through, so Garden State Parkway is probably getting the heavy rain right now. That's what I'm trying to see. The storm is still gusting out, but it's still flaring up. The tornado warning is canceled. So no more tornado warnings in southern New Jersey. No other storms in the area that are a problem in Maryland or PA. Just another freak storm. Unusually strong, nobody expected. It's been a weird year for weather, that's for sure. Heavy traffic on the Parkway today, as usual. There's the tower cam, that's what I was looking for. So you can see heavy rain off in the distance there. 142 exit, I can't remember where this is. I think it's down right where we're talking about, the Egg Harbor area. On the Parkway here, doesn't show it. Exit numbers. Yeah, Route 662. So we've got a lot of cameras on the Parkway. It's hard to figure out where they're at. Let's take a look further. I think they run north to south. So the further south we get. Might be the opposite though. Can't remember. Yeah, it's backwards, that's right. So Cape May is south. I don't know why they have the list upside down. It always confuses me at first. So we are about Upper Township. There it is. You can see how heavy the rain is. Very strong. The winds don't look that bad. We got some serious action going on here. Accidents. Multiple car accidents there at the same time. Exit 82 in New Jersey. Garden State Parkway. So very heavy rain causing a lot of accidents, as usual. Wow, that's pretty heavy rain there. And nothing there. The next exit down. So now we're getting close to the core of the storm on the cameras. Extremely heavy rain there. Look at that. On the roadway there, you can see it. The street lights are on at 1:30 in the afternoon. What do I got going on here? Apparently my appointment with Ayub Carpet Service has been scheduled for Monday, June 9th. Call 703-255-6000 for your carpet and rug cleaner. The flooring company. It's a scam. It's a text. It's a fake text to try to get you to call them and get your information. They're very slick now. Roger Antsill. What are you talking about? It's a bot in the chat. Fake account. So this is pretty much over with in New Jersey. Heavy rain and the storms are running up against the cold ocean air, which is what caused this to happen as the two air masses meet. And the storms in Havre de Grace are pretty much over with. So I'm going to hop off here.